The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. My name is Paul Solano of PS&L Marketing Group, and as you probably already know, I also wear another hat as General Manager of Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. And our huge shout out to Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick and his culinary team. They're doing a great job. Chef Felipe is a loyal listener through the Odyssey app. So hello, Chef Felipe. Now, as always, we have lots of stuff going on at Pearl Street Station this whole weekend. We got the Patriots on at 1 o'clock. We got a nice wing special at the restaurant. We have a pizza slice special. So Chef Felipe, you and Chef Joaquin and Pizziola Muhammad are gearing up for a huge, huge Saturday. And a shout out to my great 1215 staff of John, Jen, Nicole, Selene, Dennis, Jess, and just keep up the great work. Now, I cannot believe that this is show number 37, and it is an absolute honor and pleasure to be in WATD in the slot of the Boiling Point with Arthur Boyle. Can you believe it? Sound like Al Michaels there. But I am totally blown away by the number of emails and calls that I've received from loyal listeners. Tamika from Cohasset, Micah in the North River, Judy from Marshfield, Steve and Coach Bill from Duxbury. Thank you so much. And a shout out to our newest listeners from Malden, Allie and Dylan. I met them last night at Pearl Street Station with their baby son, Jack, and found them to be very interesting and possibly a future Paul Ponders guest. So we'll see how that plays out in the future. And also a shout out to Dave Boyle for doing a great job last week with Patrick Chilcott while I was on a backyard barbecue up in Methuen. David, you did a great job. Patrick, thank you. And you'll also be on a live remote next week while I'm working at a backyard barbecue, huge softball tournament up in Haverhill. And if I sound out of breath, it's because I was sitting in traffic in the Marshfield fair traffic and all, and I rushed up the stairs and all. But Dave Cedrone and Tim behind the glass, thanks so much for keeping things while I was in the parking lot. Tim, welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome. Worst enemy in radio is dead air.
I know it.
So,
as they say in the theater world, the worst thing there is an empty seat. And it definitely is dead air on live radio.
Yep.
But at this point of the segment of the Paul Ponders radio show, we usually have the Pod Pro Entertainment Techie Toolbox segment with Techie Tulonzo Amos and Shelley Wolf, Global Media Consultant of Toolbox Entertainment, Vice President of Technology and Literacy for Pod Pro Entertainment. Well, they are both on sabbatical this week, and we're going to fill this slot with a friend of mine who I've come to know over the past, I would say, past year or so. And he's a very interesting individual. He's a past Paul Ponders guest, and his name is Gordon Michaels. Gordon, are you on the line?
I am.
Wonderful. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. Living the dream still. It's all good in the hood. But in this segment, before we go into a commercial spot and all, I just wanted to have you give a shout-out to the wonderful show that we have planned for Pearl Street Station Restaurant on September 11th.
Yes, I cannot wait. We are so excited. We're hoping to have our third sold-out show there with the two ladies.
And those ladies are?
Lori Dow, who performed at your place during you had a month of R&B music, and she was the vocalist. And Conchetta, one of Boston's premier vocalists and recording jingle artists.
Nice, nice. Now, what is the show entailing?
So it's called If I Were Your Woman, and we are featuring a tribute to two legends that who thank God are still alive, Gladys Knight and Dionne Warwick. Gladys Knight is right now on tour with the Queens, the Four Queens tour with Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Shaka Khan, and Stephanie Mills.
Nice.
Of course, the amazing music of Dionne Warwick. Her anthology is so deep and so intense and long. And we're just giving you, a brief 90 minutes, but a good, well-rounded selection of songs that everybody knows by these two women.
Nice, nice. And I believe you have an incredible pianist performing.
Yeah, Mr. Michael Larson, who I'm going to do a show with in Sharon in about an hour.
Nice.
I'm doing my Nat King Cole show with him in Sharon for an assisted living space down there. And then I have to go sing for a anniversary. I'm singing an Al Green song. This guy has hired me to sing to his wife on their anniversary on the beach in Rhode Island. So Michael Larson was the musical director for the Platters for 15 years.
Oh, my.
And he's been with me for 27 years.
That is great. That's great. So how do our listeners in Paul Ponder's land get tickets to the September 11th show at Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden?
They can go to my website, GordonMichaels.com. Tickets are purchased there. We are on early bird special, so at the end of in the next week, 2 weeks, the tickets will go up by $10. So if you're going to come, you want to get those tickets now because they sell out fast when you have an early bird discount. Or you can get them on Eventbrite and just put in the title, If I Were Your Woman.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great show. I know it will be well attended. I'm doing my thing back in the Malden area with Chamber of Commerce members and getting groups. And really, I'm finding that the people are wanting to, in fact, like maybe have a little office gathering, maybe an end of summer gathering, and just make reservations with Pearl Street Station Restaurant at www.pearlstreetrestaurant.com. And just have a fun night. And the show starts at what time? 6:30, I believe.
6:30, yes.
That's great. And also,
it's going to be so much fun.
Oh,
so
will
much
be.
Audience participation, things for people to sing along. It's going to be great.
Well, speaking of sing-alongs, I do want to promote your other show, your game show, which you have. So if you want to just allude to that.
September 5th. At Club Cafe, I am the first Friday resident singer in the Napoleon Room, which is the piano bar. And every month that I'm there, I have a different theme.
Okay.
And my theme for September 5th, which is the first Friday, is called We've Watched It, Now Let's Sing It. So we're going to be doing the first half is all songs from movie soundtracks. So I will do the first 45 minutes of songs from movie soundtracks that I pick for me, and then we take a break, and then the singers who have signed up in the room will do 2 songs from movie soundtracks. I usually have somewhere between 6 and 9 singers that sign up on that night, and each one will do 2 songs, one slow song, one fast song for contrast. Then we take another break, and the second half is going to be all songs from television theme songs.
Survey
and
says.
all of the knows. So it'll be a big sing-along. And we're talking about songs like The Jeffersons, Good Times, All in the Family, Family Guy, Green Acres, Gilligan's Island, Beverly Hillbillies, The Addams Family, all those good old sitcoms and television shows that had theme songs.
That's fabulous. That is fabulous. So, Gordon, as we start to wind down, one final plug for the September 11th show at Pearl Street Station Restaurant?
Yes. If I Were Your Woman, featuring Lori Dow and Conchetta and myself, I will be doing 2 numbers with Michael Larson on the keyboard at your fabulous restaurant, Pearl Street Station, at 6:30 on September 11th. You can get your tickets at GordonMichaels.com or go to Eventbrite.com and put in the title, If I Were Your Woman.
That is awesome. And also, quick note, your voice is sounding a lot better. I know you had a case of laryngitis a couple of weeks ago, and
I did.
And you're doing well.
Thank you so much.
Well, break a leg today at your gig at the assisted living facility with Michael, and we'll catch up soon, my friend. Thanks so much, Gordon Michaels.
Talk to you soon. Have a great day.
You as well now. Take care, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, as Arthur Boyle says, it's not time to make the donuts, it's time to pay some bills. So let's hear from our sponsors.
Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Maniquisett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you. Have you tried Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davecai.pitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD, presented by Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus, where they have fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors. You can give us a call at 781-837-4900, or you can find us on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. And it's a great app. My daughter Ann listens to her dad's show through the Odyssey app, and she's really enjoying it. And she's also found many other radio stations across the United States, actually, on this Odyssey app. So please do download that. It's a free download. And you get thousands, as Tim often says, thousands upon thousands of radio stations. Now, a nice shout out to the nonprofits out there who send me emails. Thank you for doing that. And you could continue to send me an email at paul@paulponders.com. Quick shout out for the National Anti-American Sports Hall of Fame bocce tournament we have coming up on September 14th. We have a few more slots left. It's almost a sellout, so that's an exciting thing. It's at the Italian American Citizens Club in Malden. So if you want to reach out to me at paul@paulponders.com, I could hopefully get you in on registration. And listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders and WATD shows. My last Paul Ponders podcast dropped this past Sunday. It was with Mark Linehan from Malden, and it was a very interesting, spectacular episode. Mark is an actor and local man about town, but he just does a wonderful job explaining various projects, and you may want to check that out. You really don't have to be from Malden because it's really about history of the 250th anniversary of our country. Now, at this point in the program, we do have our community outreach segment, and this is kind of sort of an offshoot of the Pod Pro Entertainment segment with Techie Talonzo Amos, but I'm very happy to bring on the line Miss Sharon Filio. Sharon, welcome.
Yep, I'm here.
You are there. Yes, you are. Now, if you've listened, for anyone out there in Paul Ponders land, if you have listened to that wonderful intro voice, that beautiful voice behind, referring to me as the connector, it is the voice of you, Sharon, and I want to thank you. Thank you for
so
doing
much.
a great job, and you've had some experience doing voiceovers and all, which we'll talk about in future segments and all, because this is not your last appearance on Paul Ponders. But
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's really great, my friend, to have you on, and you have the most impressive, and we've talked about this over the past few years, a fall prevention method. So if you want to just let our listeners in WATD land know about your fall prevention method.
Well, I'm an ex-pro bodybuilder, and what I noticed was at my competitions, the plus 70, plus 80, plus 90 age group, divisions, these people aged incredibly well. And I kind of thought to myself, how do I integrate bodybuilding with exercise that's safe for seniors to help avoid falls? So through that kind of genesis, I was able to develop this fall prevention program. I really like it because it's very safe. My oldest participant was 103. And generally, the average age is probably 85. That's about the average age. And what the program concentrates on are the muscles of balance, which are in the hips and legs. And so, what I did to help bring together this program is that I studied professional athletes like Bobby Orr, the Red Sox players, the Celtics, people like Muhammad Ali. I went back and looked, how do these people move? How do they move? And that's helped me to develop this program.
Interesting. Now, is this available online? Is this something you purchase? How does it work?
Well, I lecture and teach around the New England area. However, I have a YouTube channel called the Filio Fall Prevention Method, and you can pull that up on YouTube, and you'll see a little avatar of my face, little cartoon character with big eyes. So you can find me very, very easily. And it has some of the exercises on there. And it's interesting because in different parts of the country, we're based here in Boston. People like email me and say, I'm doing your program online, but it's actually better in person, but the online template is or program, is good for people who don't reside here, and you can do it from a chair.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, do you collaborate with local hospitals or programs?
No, but what I do is I have collaborated with local mayors. So the latest collaboration we did was with Brianna Luongo-Krohn, who's the mayor of Medford, and we had a mayoral challenge with her. And one of the city council nominees is going to be coming out actually next week to participate. Representative Paul Donato has also kind of donated a class where he actually paid for it, and we gave out little gift bags and everything. And I've spoken to Mystic Valley about perhaps collaborating with them. It's something that is very serious. 1 out of every 3 hospitalizations over the age of 65 is generally due to a fall.
Now, have you connected with maybe the Life Alert people on this?
I haven't. That would be a welcome opportunity. It's been a challenge. I do work with Silver Sneakers, which is run by the Tivity Healthcare, and so we have that. I have that collaboration, but I would love to work with someone like, say, Life Alert. It's such a big problem, and the biggest hurdle is getting people who are homebound to make this program available to them, which is why the YouTube component can be very beneficial.
Interesting. So how would our listeners in WATD land find you?
Well, they can go on YouTube and just look up Fillyaw, Fillyaw, Fillyaw Fall Prevention Method, and it'll come right up.
Interesting. Well, if anyone out there has any connections with the Life Alert people or with anyone who could really advance this wonderful program that's being really well received by so many seniors, please reach out to Sharon, and I think it will really work.
Yes, it's a great also. I've had participants say that they've eschewed physical therapy and they just come to my class. However, people that are in physical therapy for hip replacement, knee replacement, once you kind of get through your post-op, the program is a great way to continue the physical therapy because many, if not all, the exercises are exactly what you'll get in physical therapy. I actually, I like to say my class is physical therapy on steroids. So we've had anecdotal, people saying anecdotally that I don't use my walker anymore, like I don't need my cane, I left it in the trunk of my car. So it's gotten tremendous feedback, and my classes can run from, 40 to 70 people.
Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And you really do a great job with it. I sat in on one of your classes at the Malden Senior
it's
Center.
Hard.
Yeah, it was totally blown away by it. Really, really cool. Well, Sharon, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes. No, I was going to say, but what is beneficial to me is that I have so many participants that have varied backgrounds. One of the participants was Albert Einstein's physician at Princeton University. I've had NASA scientists. I've had some celebrities in there. I can't say who. I've had some celebrities in my class. Lawyers, judges, school principals. I had the inventor that holds the patent on the trifocal lens for cataracts. The surgeon who actually invented that was also a participant in my class.
Wow.
So it's so much fun to not only instruct the class, but to hear the great stories, the histories of the participants. You can't imagine. We even had one of Whitey Bulger's, one of the Boston Stranglers prison guards.
Oh, my. Wow.
So it's rather interesting. But thank you so much for inviting me on today.
Well, thank you for accepting the invitation and looking forward to having you on in future segments. And
of course.
with that, Sharon, I want to wish you a great day, and we will catch up with you soon.
Sounds great. Thank you so much to you and all your listeners. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, my friend.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I think I failed to mention that this community outreach segment is sponsored in part by PS&L Marketing Group, say that 10 times fast, and the mortgage originators at Riverworks Credit Union. At this point, let's take it to our sponsors.
Have you tried Brianville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Brianville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Brianville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Brianville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Benekeesit Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Five-time Hall of Fame inductee President Dave Caiazzo from the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter invites you to its Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 1 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th at Anthony's of Malden. Congrats to Zavarian Brothers High School head football coach Al Finaro, past San Diego Padres farmhand Joe DiSarcina, and special Tony the Champ DeMarco Spirit Award recipient Catholic Memorial AD football coach John DiBiazzo. Please contact Paul at paulponders.com or President Dave Caiazzo at davecai.pitching@gmail.com for more ticket information. Are you looking for fencing and outdoor products? Look no further than Northeastern Fence and Supply Corporation of Saugus. When owner Mike Payne's customers have been asked why they chose Northeastern Fence, many said that there were three deciding factors: customer respect, excellent customer service, and quality products. I say that you need to add in 70-plus years of a family-run business with truly experienced sales and installation teams. So if you are in the market for fences for your kids, dogs, and ugly neighbors, please call Mike Payne and his crew at 781-233-3324 or email mike@northeasternfence.com.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. The call-in number is 781-837-4900, and if you're like Jane from Pembroke, who called in during the last
Gene.
segment.
Gene from
I'm sorry
Pembroke.
about that.
It's okay.
I remember Jane from Pembroke calling on the previous show, but this is Gene from Pembroke. Thank you for calling in and inquiring on the fall prevention method and how to, in fact, find it on YouTube. So I would say the best way to do it would be to go to YouTube, go to that search search bar. Thank you, and just type in, I would say, FILLYAW. That's Filia. That's Sharon's last name. Fall prevention method. And if you type in those 4 words, I think it will pop right up and you'll see the avatar with Sharon's picture, and just enjoy that production. I had seen something about a year or so ago when it was in production, and it's a very well done YouTube video. So I do invite you to again check that out. The Filia Fall
it's
Prevention.
the first two results that come up. I just did the search myself.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
you,
you're
Tim,
welcome.
behind the glass.
Of course.
Great teamwork there.
Yes.
And Gene from Pembroke, thanks for calling in. And again, I invite all of our other callers out there to call 781-837-4900. So this goes back a few shows. I've been in and out of studio, and I really haven't had a chance to have my next guest on the line. But I believe this is a great connection to a remarkable scientific study making headlines, and new research has been published, I believe, back on August 4th by the Royal Astronomical Society of Sweden that connects the book Engineering Infinity. And it connects it to a long-suspected cover-up involving Harvard College that happened in the 1950s. So I bring on the line Mr. Gene Stico, U.S. Air Force Staff Sergeant, retired. Gene, are you on the line?
I am, Paul. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome, Gene. Great to have you on the line. So what is this kind of sort of updated breaking news, we'll call it?
Yeah, it's really fascinating. So as you mentioned, Dr. Beatrice Villarreal out of the University of Stockholm, on August 4th, she published a peer-reviewed paper in the Royal Astronomical Society that identifies something that's always been a matter of speculation, and it informally goes by the term of mystery satellites. She calls them transient objects. But this dates back to the first early telescopes, where there were observations made of the sky, of space, and objects that would, lights, let's say, that would appear not all the time, not consistently, but would be in places where there shouldn't be things. And the Boston connection to this is fascinating, because these were allegedly photographed beginning in even the 1800s, so the late 1800s. But in 1953, the head of the Harvard Observatory, Dr. Donald Menzel, set out to destroy all of the plates, these photographic plates that existed in this 1953 time frame, until I think about 1957. I'd have to double check my numbers on that. But it was, sort of put forward publicly as a cost-saving measure, but it was also a very specific time frame in which these photographic plates were destroyed, and it's commonly known as Menzel's gap. And he was connected to the Atomic Energy Commission and allegedly the CIA. And so this question always remained. And what happened in 2016 was Dr. Villarreal had actually found other plates at the Palomar Observatory in California, which covered this entire time period, and was able to examine them. And what's significant about that is these objects that are photographed are generally not able to be seen because they reside within Earth's shadow, as it's described. And there's generally only two times that they appear, and it's by chance with the sun being in a correct position, or there's direct correlations that she's made to atomic testing. And there's some of the theories that she's further working on with this. The idea is that the radiation from the atomic testing are actually what caused some of these anomalous light sources to be reflected off of these objects. And considering this was the time period before humans had put anything in space, before Sputnik, what were these things that they were being reflected off of? And when they weren't being reflected, still occasionally transmitting light sources from.
Interesting. Now this sort of ties into the work that your father-in-law, your deceased father-in-law, had done regarding this line of work, correct?
Well, exactly. So what happened was, prior to the first publication, days prior to it, I was contacted through a mutual acquaintance between myself and Dr. Villarreal, because it had somehow been identified that my father-in-law's work and the collections of papers he did, which purport to describe in detail the reverse engineering of a UFO, based on the mathematics and some of the ideas and principles he discusses on vacuums in space and whatnot, that essentially his work was the only thing on the planet that could actually be a blueprint for these types of transient objects that Dr. Villarreal and her team have identified and are going to be doing more research on. So again, for us, it's a very a double connection here to the Boston area when it comes to the Harvard Observatory and me being here with this old work from my father-in-law. So it's going to be fascinating to see in the coming months and years, maybe, as she continues to put more science behind it, how that science is fitting in and supporting the blueprints that it seems my father-in-law drew.
Wow, interesting. So I guess it's that question, what does all this mean?
Well, right. I mean, and if you put your mind around it, and I think the scientific community is really still doing that, the implications are staggering. It means there were artificial objects that exhibit mechanical signatures which have existed in orbit around Earth before we had any space program, before Sputnik. So where'd they come from?
Right. Interesting. More Paul Ponders down the road on this one. Wow.
It is, and it speaks to there's a degree of this that I think she was actually facing a lot of hesitation with from the journal to even publish it because of the potential implications to what they call the ontological understanding, which is the understanding of our origins as humans. It could have ultimately that level of implication.
Interesting. Now, are you tracking all this on your website?
Yeah, I am. So I appreciate that. Yeah, it's engineeringinfinitybook.com. And again, since the beginning, the entire manuscript, the body of work itself, I've had open and available as a flip book right from the front page. And then in the menu, there's articles and blog that people can look at, including a small piece I wrote specifically about this connection with Dr. Villarreal's work. But there's a lot of other research that we have there that looks at things like the details of my father-in-law's work and how it can explain what's sort of commonly known as or seen as phenomenon. It looks at the progression of his work and U.S. government programs around advanced propulsion, essentially the same type of science studied during these same time periods, both in terms of advanced propulsion, but also in terms of defense. So I liken it to, I say, we looked at the craft my father-in-law describes in the book, we extracted the science from it, and we found defense programs that could defeat the science. But if you don't acknowledge that kind of science exists, how did we wind up with defense programs for it?
Interesting. What really boggles my mind or just shows concern is really the involvement of Harvard, the secrecy, and the Cold World type of atmosphere back then in the 50s.
No, absolutely. And again, I don't come out of this world. This has not been a lifelong passion. This is sort of me fulfilling what feels like an obligation to the work that was dropped in my lap. And looking at what's going on, and a lot of people generally don't follow the behind the scenes and the details of this UAP type phenomenon. But it's actively pursued in Congress. There's a new UAP Disclosure Act that Senator Schumer's just put forward that they're waiting for to be signed, voted on, and signed. So there's a lot of activity, and it all sort of signals this idea of not just disclosure of what the UAP or UFO phenomenon might be or is, but it also has a lot of signals to it that are also reminiscent of transitioning people to better understand perhaps our role in the larger cosmos.
Wow. Well, Gene, again, we're going to have you on again with follow-up on this, and I want to thank you for being on, Paul Ponders, and we look forward to seeing you soon, my friend.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Have a great day now. We'll catch up soon. And I just want to invite our listeners to stay tuned to WATD for the Memories with Ron Dwyer, the grand poobah of oldies rock and roll. Ron, you are a true leader of the pack with great musical memories of yesteryear. So thank you, Ron. Thanks again to Tim, Arthur, and our advertisers. But really, thank you, listeners in WATD world and beyond. Keep Paul pondering. #Indeed.